everybody, how's it going? It's Aliza Hendon from Boss Mom Coaching. I am your health, life, and business coach for moms. And I want to talk today to you guys about something really important, which is setting goals and setting intentions and making commitments to make changes in your life. And I want to talk about why they usually don't end up lasting. I don't know if you guys can relate, but ever start a diet, right? And you were really excited in the beginning and you bought that food tracking journal and you started recording all the things you were eating and you started getting the app to count your calories, or you started following this program and reading a book, and in the beginning you're like all excited, and then at some point it just kind of starts fizzling away and you end up right back at square one, to your old eating habits, to your old way of life, back to your struggles. And then you kind of find yourself like, what happened? Right? Like, I was so committed. I was so ready to change. I felt so motivated. Why is that not there anymore? Right? And this happens when we're not setting goals with the right motivations. This happens when we're not setting goals in the right way. And today in this video, I want to teach you guys why this happens so you can understand and not make this mistake anymore, and how to effectively set goals in a way that will actually last. Okay? So let's first talk about why we set goals and why they often fail. Usually what's happening is when you're setting a goal, it can be coming from a place of negativity, okay? Like, meaning, I am sick of living this way. I'm sick of being overweight. I am sick of having a messy house. I'm sick of not making enough money, right? We're coming from a place of, I don't want to be here anymore. Or sometimes we're coming from a place of guilt. We're feeling like, I know that I should be doing X, Y, and Z, but I'm not, and I feel bad, and I feel guilty that I'm not doing it. So I'm going to start doing it, right? This especially relates to like spirituality, let's say, right? You know, the high holidays come up, it's Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, and it's an uncomfortable time if you're not feeling great about your spirituality. And we make commitments and we decide we're going to change and we're going to do all these things, and then at some point we look back and we totally forget about those goals. So it's coming from a place of discomfort. It's coming from a place of like, I don't want to be like this anymore and I know I should be doing something, right? So these are examples of goals that are set with a more negative, what I'm going to call negative motivation. And I want to tell you why this doesn't work. See, what happens is that when you're first setting the goal, like we talked about, it's coming from a place of like discomfort. Like, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I don't want to be 30 pounds overweight. I don't want to be inactive and not exercising. I don't want to be totally disconnected from God. I want, you want to be doing something else. So what happens is that initially when you start having those thoughts, you decide, from this place, I'm setting a goal. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to daven. I'm going to pray every day for 5 minutes. Here's my chart. I'm making my little chart and everything, and that's what I'm going to do. Or, I don't want to be fat anymore. I'm starting this new diet after the holidays because I can't feel like this anymore. I feel gross. My clothes don't fit, and I'm sick of eating whatever I want. And when we start, what happens is that when you start, just the act of starting and committing to something and trying something new and buying that diet book and making that chart, that already goes ahead and eases the discomfort that you're feeling from not being where you want to be. And what that essentially does is that it gets rid of the urgency of solving this problem. So in the beginning, when you're first starting out, you're super motivated, you're super into it, and the more you're doing that, it's slowly getting rid of that urgency to make those changes, because you just feel better the fact that you started something, that you're doing something. And what ends up happening is that once the urgency to change kind of goes away, so do your commitments, and so do these new things you started doing, and so does that diet plan, or so does that sticker chart you made to start davening or praying more, right? And that's when we kind of find ourselves back off track and essentially going back to our old patterns and habits, because those are something that we're really used to doing. And then we kind of end up back to at square one, like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then the cycle just repeats itself. So this kind of motivation, when it's coming from a negative place of, I don't want this anymore, or I can't do this anymore, or feeling guilty and feeling like you should be doing something, that kind of motivation does not last. So now you might be wondering, okay, Aliza, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to set a goal in my life that's actually going to work? And we're going to talk about that right now. I'm going to tell you exactly how to set a goal the right way so that you can be successful and actually make changes that are going to last. So I first want to say that having this quote unquote like negative, what did I say? Like negative, this quote unquote negative motivation, like I don't want to be there anymore or this is uncomfortable, that can be useful to get you started, right? Like that often is what inspires us to like, I need to change, right? It's like the, the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's something that's like, okay, I need to make a change now. But you can't stay there. You need to take it further. And here's how you do it. The right way to set a goal and the right way to keep yourself motivated with a goal is to be focusing on what we want. What is it that I want instead? You don't want to be in debt anymore? You don't want to be working at your job anymore that you hate? Great. What would you like instead? We often really don't allow ourselves to be in that space of thinking about what it is that we want and what it would be like to actually have that thing that we want. Okay, so you don't want to be 30 pounds overweight anymore. What do you want? And why do you want that? And how is that going to change your life to be there? How is that going to impact yourself, your family, your relationships, your finances, your spiritual life? Like how is this going to impact your life? Because that's how we can keep ourselves motivated, because like it feels good, right? Like I think about, let's say, like having the goal of exercise. Like when you think about what that's going to feel like when you're actually exercising on a regular basis, it feels great. Yeah, when you start, it's annoying. You gotta, schlep out to the gym and put on your sneakers and change into your gym clothes. But when you're focusing on how awesome it's gonna feel when you've accomplished that, that's what keeps you motivated. And then it just naturally becomes a part of your routine because you're allowing yourself to start accessing that future version of yourself. And this is the kind of motivation that lasts. And I'm gonna teach you how to set a goal in this way, okay? So let's say here you are. Let's say you want to start setting a goal of exercising more, like we talked about, right? So the first thing you're going to do is to get clear on what the goal is and what it is that you want to commit to, practically speaking, what that's going to look like. And we could totally go into more detail. We're not going to in this video, but you want to make sure that it's a realistic goal and a tangible goal that's actually going to work for you and your lifestyle, right? So the second step of this is to really get clear on, why do I want this? What is this going to do for me? And try to keep it positive on, I want X, Y, and Z. Not I don't want this, what do you want? And then the next step, which I highly, highly recommend, and this is really the key, is to allow yourself, even once a day if you can, take 60 seconds, close your eyes, and allow yourself to feel into the experience of accomplishing this. Allow yourself to feel, what will this feel like when I accomplish this goal? How will it physically feel it in your body? How will this impact your family? Like really visualize how it's going to affect you. And guys, if you implement goals and have this kind of motivation when you're doing things, it's going to be a game changer and you're going to stay on track like you've never done before. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys, because this is just a small thing I do with my clients. And some of you may or may not have heard, I have a really cool program that's starting next week. It's called the 28-Day Healthy Habit Jumpstart. And this is just a sample of what we talk about. This is just a sample of the video content that you'll get in your email, because my goal isn't to just pop you on a diet and tell you what to eat and give you a meal plan. My goal is to help you to actually make habit changes in your life, in your health, that are going to last. And the first step of that is knowing how to set a goal the right way. So I'd love to have you be a part of this program. It is starting this Sunday. If you're interested, send me an email. I'm happy to give you more information or schedule a time to talk more about it to see if it's a fit for you. But until then, I thank you guys for watching. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what your biggest takeaway is. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. Have a good one, guys.